Hi there, I'm Bernadette B. Today we're going to do a 15 to 20 minute section on exercises specifically for the lower back, drawing mostly from Pilates and ending up with a few yoga stretches. So this one's for Caspar, who has lower back issues and sits a lot at his desk. I'm sure you might be the same. First thing we're going to do is just start on our mats, coming onto your back. Bend your legs, bring your feet so that they're roughly hip width, knees to the sky. And just start with some pelvic rocking. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, just lower your back, flatten your lower back. And then as you inhale, come back to a neutral spine and deliberately arch your lower back. Exhaling as you flatten, inhaling as you arch. One more, exhale as you flatten. And really feel those abdominals working, and then inhale as you arch and feel the contraction of your back muscles. Now as you exhale, flatten your lower back, and this time start to lift or peel your back off the floor, going vertebra by vertebra. As you get to the top of your bridge, just watch that you don't pop your bottom ribs up. So tone the front of the body, draw the hips towards the bottom ribs towards the hips. Take a breath here, and as you exhale, come down bone by bone. So what we're doing is mobilizing the spine here, and you'll find that there's a spot towards the end that's really tricky, so take it a bit slower. Nice deep breath in as you get to the bottom, and then exhale, toning those abdominals and really working to get each bone to lift off as you come up. Breathing in at the top, exhaling as you lower down. Taking a little bit more time at the end where you find it's harder to get that bone by bone connection. One more, nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, flatten your lower back and peel it up off the floor again. I recommend you do these maybe 5 times. We're just going to go 3 times today. And then come into that neutral spine position. So you have a little gap at the lower back, gap at the neck, and you draw the bottom ribs in. So tone the pelvic floor, navel to spine, draw the bottom ribs in. So the front of the ribs, the base of those, just draw them in a bit so you feel the upper abdominals engage. Make sure that there is a gap at the back of your neck and you feel like the back of the neck's long. Now keep that tone as you lift one leg to tabletop and then the other. The key thing here is, unlike when we were doing the pelvic rocking, we don't want the pelvis to move. So keep those muscles toned and try and breathe into the upper chest rather than into the abdominals. Drop one heel down, bring it up, and then drop the other heel down, bring it up. Keep your feet nicely flexed. And you're really getting strength here. Even bringing your hands to your tummy will be really helpful. What you're wanting to avoid with this movement is that your tummy bulges up towards the sky. So you've really got to work hard to draw the navel towards the spine so that you're not getting that bulging. Let's do one more each side. And then bring one foot down, then the other. That makes it a lot easier. That's a lot of work. From here, arms out to a T, lift one leg, then the other. This time, bring the feet and knees together. Take a breath in as you drop the knees over to your left. And then exhale as you bring your knees up through center. Keep your shoulders down, and then exhale as you drop the knees the other way. Inhale, as you drop the knees the other way. Exhale as you bring them up. So we're working the obliques here. We've fired up the abdominals at the front of our body. We've fired up our lower back. And now we're just working the obliques, firing them up, waking them up. One more to the front. And then release. Nicely done. This time, now roll over onto all fours. So you're on your hands and knees, and you can either tuck your toes under, be on the tops of your feet, it doesn't really matter. Knees are hip width and directly below your hips. Bring your thumbs together, spread your fingers nice and brightly. Take your right hand behind you. Now, when you take your hand behind you, I'll go this way so you can see. What you want is you want your gaze to be down, but you don't want to drop your head. With your hand on your head, it's very easy to force your head down. So press your head into your hands and note that you want the gaze on a bit of an angle. Keep your gaze there and just lift your elbow up towards the sky as you take a breath in. As you exhale, bring that elbow towards the other arm. Doesn't matter whether it touches, doesn't matter whether it does or doesn't. Inhale as you stretch up. Exhale. Remember, your gaze is, your head's basically, or your gaze is basically in the same direction. Now follow that elbow. So take the gaze out towards that arm. Exhaling as you curl it in. Inhaling as you take it out. Here you're firing up the upper back muscles. And so this is a great practice to do first thing in the morning to try and wake everything up. And then release and bring your thumbs back together. Let's go other side. Elbow out to the side. Press your head back into the hands. Take a breath in as you lift that elbow high. And exhale as you curl in. It's really important, particularly if you work at a desk, to mobilize your spine. Not to just get up in the morning. Now let's follow the gaze. Not to just get up in the morning, sit down, have your breakfast, or a coffee or whatever it is your habit is, and then go and sit down at your desk all day. Your body needs some time to just mobilize. From here, we're going to come down and activate the glutes. So we've activated the lower abs, we've activated the upper abs, we've activated the obliques, the upper back. Now we're going to activate the glutes. So we're basically just waking up the muscles of our body. For this one, forearms are parallel. Don't bring the hands together. Hands are directly ahead of your elbows, and your knees are going to be together and your feet are going to be together. Take your right leg back and pull your toes towards your knees so that you're flexing your foot here. Lift the leg as high as you can, and you can really feel those right glutes switch on. And then lower the knee. Now what's critical here is that you're not arching the back, the body's not moving with it. So you really want to engage the abs here, the pelvic floor, navel to spine, and also make sure that the bottom ribs aren't popping, that the front of the ribs aren't popping forwards. Just keep going here, really trying to lift the foot as high as you can. Exhaling as you lift up. Inhaling as you lower it down. And just check that your shoulders aren't hunching, that they're relaxed. You're not carrying any tension in your shoulders. 2 more here. And then bring that knee down. Feel free to grab to bring a hand into a wrist and just give it a bit of a pummel just to bring the blood to those glutes. Come back to forearms parallel, shoulders on your back, draw the bottom ribs in. Let's go the other side. So keep remembering to tone those abdominals, keep the pelvic floor switched on. Don't let the bottom ribs pop forward and then go backwards. So everything's stable in the front of the body. And then bring it down. And again, give it a bit of a pummel. Okay, the next one's going to work our upper back a little bit more. So come down onto your mat, lying on your tummy, and just make a pillow with your hands, one hand on top of the other. Drop your forehead onto your pillowed hands, and let's get our setup worked here. Straighten your legs and stretch your legs, toning the muscles. Now, when you tone the muscles of your legs, you don't want to lift the knees. You want the quads engaged, the thigh muscles, but not so much that you're hyperextending your knees. Pardon me. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, tone the pelvic floor. lift the navel, the belly button, the belly, whatever you like to call it, off the floor. And here's the key thing. You want to keep that pelvic floor switched on and the belly button off the floor the whole time. Now take your arms out to cactus or to an E, thumbs up to the sky, and then lift your head. You don't have to lift it so much, so really high, because you'll notice once you start lifting it really high, you're pressing down with your arms. You want to avoid that, so you want your arms to be nice and light. I'm just going to move back a little bit so we've got some space here. Now keep that, and then stretch one arm over your head. Take the other arm back towards your hips. So I'll go this way so you can see. Now that arm that's pointing towards the foot of the mat, the thumbs are up to the sky. And then just switch them around. And switch. That's it, and switch. Switch again. And then one more. Now keep that, bring both arms alongside your ears. If that's too much, take them out to a Y. Thumbs to the sky, take both arms back, and you'll notice that your upper back and your head lift a little more. Keep the belly off the floor as you stretch your arms forward again. Exhale as you lift up. In fact, let's exhale as we stretch that way. Inhale as you lift up. Feel that strength in your upper body. Feel those back muscles switching on. Let's do one more. And the breathing is really just there to help you when it gets difficult, or to make sure you're not holding your breath. So it's important to keep breathing. Nicely done. From here, let's come into a nice little back bend. So forehead and nose down to the mat. Hands beside you, tuck your toes under. Breathe in. As you breathe out, tone the pelvic floor, lift the belly off the floor. Exhale, lift up. And then just push back so that your knees are directly above below your hips. Tuck your toes under and stretch your arms forwards. Now just watch that your hips don't come forwards or that your hips don't go back. So we're not going into child's pose here. We're coming into puppy pose. Arms are straight, drop down onto your forehead and nose. Try not to let your elbows drop. And then bring your awareness to the pelvic floor. Draw the navel gently towards the spine. Draw the bottom ribs in just a little. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, have a sense of trying to release the chest towards the floor. Some people are a little bit more flexible and can come onto their throat, their chin or their chest. So see what's right for you. Make sure though that if you advance the pose a bit, you are very careful about the back of your neck. So you're not straining the back of your neck here. And then inhale as you lift up, drop your elbows down and come forwards again. Bring your hands beside you. So back into that push-up position. Tuck your toes under, breathe in. Breathe out as you tone through your midsection. Exhale, lift up to your knees. Then lift your knees and push into downward facing dog. And just give yourself a nice stretch. So for many people with tight backs, you'll be better off taking your feet a bit wider and bending your knees. Draw your feet towards each other. Really try and tilt the pelvis here as though you're arching the back, and press your chest towards your knees. So you can get this lovely opening in the front of the body, and we're deliberately going for that opening. So we're not actually trying to stretch the hammies at this point, we're just stretching the back. Feel free, if you're a little bit more flexible, to straighten your legs, but just watch that if you do that, you don't round through the spine. So you want that lovely bend happening at the hip joint. And then let's bring it into a quad stretch. So come back down to the floor and roll onto your back. Not a quad stretch, sorry, a glute stretch, what am I saying? Bring the right ankle onto your left thigh and interlace your fingers around the back of your left thigh. Now you'll find when you do this, you just flatten your lower back automatically here. So let's just take it step by step. Get into this position. If you can't grab the back of your thigh, grab a towel or something that you can use. Start by just drawing your shoulders on your back, almost like you're sticking your chest up to the sky. Back of the neck is long. I find when I do that, I will automatically get a little bit more stretch in that outer hip. And then, rather than flattening the lower back, tilt your pelvis to try and bring it into neutral. So press your pubic bone towards the foot of the mat and down. Now keep that, so we've got that natural curve in the lower back. Keep that and start to draw that left thigh towards the chest. Try not to round your shoulders. And just nice deep breaths here. And you can feel that lovely stretch happening in that outer hip. And with each exhalation, just focus on trying to release and let go. Releasing the tension, letting go. When we sit a lot, we get really tight in the outer hips. And then very gently release and switch sides. So once we switch sides, we need to regroup and start again. Draw the shoulders on your back, lift the chest to the sky, arch the lower back to keep that natural curve. Keep that, and then start to draw that right thigh towards you. Relax your face, relax your eyes. It's important to enjoy the stretch and to make sure you keep breathing throughout your stretches. And you'll notice with each exhalation, you're able to take it a little bit deeper. And as you exhale, gently release that. And press your feet into the floor to lift your hips up off the mat, so there's no hips on the mat. Swing your hips to the right and lower your hips down. You'll find you're in a bit of a V here. Drop your left foot, stretch your left leg out, turn your left toes over to the left, so your pinky toe of the left foot's pointing to the left, and then take your right leg across your body. Now it depends on how flexible you are as to whether you're airborne or whether you have your foot on the mat. Lift your shoulders up towards the head of the mat so you get a lot of length in the sides of your body. Some people like to take their left hand onto the right knee. If you do that, just be really mindful that you don't shorten that left side. So we're now getting we're getting a beautiful twist in the spine, as well as a nice stretch in the outer glutes here and the outer hip. Not that you have inner glutes, but anyway. If you want a little bit more, tip your left ear to your left shoulder and turn your head to the right. See, that lovely twist through the spine is coming all the way through. And the reason I swing my hips to the side before I twist is so that the spine is straight while it's being twisted. Otherwise, the spine would be curved. As you inhale, come out of that twist and bring both feet to the mat. Press your feet into the floor to lift the hips up through center and over to the left. And then stretch the right leg out, making sure the pinky toe of the right foot is on the mat. Take the left leg across. And start by just wriggling the shoulders up. You want to make sure in all of your twists that you get length in the spine. So you're twisting, as you twist the spine, you think about wringing out. So it's almost, we're twisting the discs, we're twisting the vertebra, and we want as much length in our spine as possible. We don't want to contract the spine and try and twist it. We want to create space. Option to bring that right hand onto the left knee. Make sure that right leg's nice and straight too. And then tip the right ear to the right shoulder and turn to the left. That bit's optional. It really depends on your neck and how flexible your neck is. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And then as you inhale, bring the left foot back, bend both legs, bring the feet to the mat, And just hug your knees in towards your armpits. You might want to just rock from side to side. You might even want to bring your knees together and just give yourself a little lower back massage by making circles with your knees one way and then circle them the other way. Don't worry so much about stability here, it's just about movement. And then hug your knees into your chest and either roll to the side with your right arm overhead, roll to the right side and lift up, or you can just rock and roll and come up this way, so whichever works for you. So I hope that's going to be a nice little quick practice for you, and inspired by my son Caspar and anyone with lower back issues. I really encourage you first thing in the morning to get moving. Okay, take care. Feel free to check out my longer video of 35 minutes for your lower back. It's got those exercises plus some others as well. Take care, stay well.